Hi everyone, ya sabes que Carlos Irtate to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're going to warm up with a cozy soup. I'm going to show you how I make my chicken and potato Avgolemono soup. It's going to be a lemony soup with classic Greek flavors. It's a little spin off chicken Avgolemono. Instead of adding pasta or rice, I'm adding potatoes, and I'm doing a really quick version so that way you can make this on any busy weeknight. Let's get started. So I'm starting off with 10 drumsticks. You can use any cut of chicken that you like. Drumsticks tend to be a little bit less expensive, and I always have them on hand. I like to make stocks with them because it makes a really nice gelatinous stock. I'm not making a stock today, although you can if you have the time. Instead of doing the shortcut, which we're going to cook the chicken drumsticks first, you can just make a nice stock, and I have a really delicious recipe on the blog and on YouTube as well. Today what I'm doing is I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top, and I'm going to season both sides with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I'm going to transfer the drumsticks to my air fryer basket, because the air fryer just cooks things so quickly and easily, and the cleanup is simple, so I like to use that. And I'm going to air fry them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 or 20 minutes. They don't have to fully cook, but it's a good idea to do that because then it's much easier to shred them afterwards and add them to the soup. If you don't have an air fryer, you can do this in the oven. 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 minutes is all you need. Or you can do this on the stovetop by browning them in the same pot that you're going to make your chicken. It is going to make the process longer though, so keep that in mind. While the chicken is cooking, then go ahead and finely chop one onion with a few baby carrots, or two carrot sticks will do too. Peel the carrot sticks if you're using the whole carrots, and just dice those up too. Add them to a pot with a couple tablespoons of olive oil and a little pinch of salt, and cook them until the veggies are nice and soft for about 8 or 10 minutes or so. If there's not enough olive oil in there, and I don't like to add lots of olive oil to soups, you can go ahead and add a little bit of water, like maybe a quarter of a cup of water to help the veggies soften. And then what you're going to do is once the chicken is done, go ahead and remove the skin and just roughly chop that chicken, set it aside. I also did peel 1.5 pounds of russet potatoes, and I also diced them up in just small pieces like I have here. I washed them really well, and then I soaked them in water because while the chicken and the onions were cooking, I didn't want them to turn brown. So I go ahead and drain that water out. Once the onions and the carrots are done cooking, go ahead and grate 5 or 6 garlic cloves, add them to the pot and let it warm through for a few seconds until they're nice and fragrant. Then go ahead and add the potatoes, the chicken, 8 cups of chicken broth. This can be homemade, it can be store-bought, whatever you have on hand. 8 cups of it is what you need. Season that with a little bit of salt, black pepper, and I also like to add a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. It's really healthy, and it also gives a nice color to the soup. Give that a nice mix, and then bring the soup to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, reduce it to like a medium heat and cover the pot. Let it cook for about 25 or 30 minutes, or until the potatoes are fork tender. Then we're going to add the Avgolemono. So for the Avgolemono sauce, go ahead and add 6 egg yolks to a bowl with a teaspoon of cornstarch. Then it's time for the lemon juice. Now I like it super lemony, but start off with a 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice, and then you can add more if you want it more lemony. Once you add the lemon, you can't take it out. I like to add a 1/2 cup, but it is a lot of lemon juice, so start, like I said, with a 1/4 cup and work up if you want more. Whisk that all together, and then go ahead and add either a teaspoon of dill in there, dry dill, fresh dill if you have. This time of year is really hard to find fresh dill, so I always have dry dill on hand. Add a teaspoon of dry dill. You can add thyme or oregano, whatever your favorite herb is, or you could leave it out and add some fresh parsley at the end. Whisk that all up, and then take a couple ladlefuls of the hot soup liquid and put it in the egg mixture to temper the eggs, and bring them up to temperature so that way it creates a nice, smooth, silky thickening agent for your soup. Then go ahead, whisk that all together and add that back into the soup. Give it a nice mix and let it warm through for about 2 to 3 minutes until the soup thickens slightly. It's not going to thicken that much, but as it sits, of course, you have the potatoes in there, and then the cornstarch and the egg yolks also thicken the soup. It's going to get nice and creamy. Give it a taste and add a little bit more salt and pepper if it's needed, and then it's just time to serve. Time for the taste test. All of the flavor of chicken Avgolemono in just under an hour. It all comes together so quickly. The potatoes melt in your mouth. They're gonna melt more in the soup and thicken it and just make it so comforting and delicious. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. Serve it with some toasted bread and some more lemon wedges, maybe sprinkle some parsley on top. The exact measurements are on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. If you want to learn how to make traditional chicken avgolemono, lemony chicken and orzo soup, click over here and I'll see you right over there. Yes, us.